Hi guys, today's video is going to be about clearing the paint, or tracing the area you want to clear the paint from when you've painted something like this engine and you're going to refit a gasket and you don't want the paint to be in between. So the gasket that I'm going to do this project on is the exhaust gasket between the cylinder head and the heat exchanger. So I will show you how I do this, because I've painted a lot of this surface and I know I've gotten paint on a lot of the surfaces that is covered by the gasket, and I don't want the paint to burn, to basically burn up in between the gasket and the metal and cause an expansion and a failure of the gasket. So I want to take care of this paint issue before I mount everything together. So I'm going to show you how I do this, and yeah, I hope you find it inspiring and see the use of it. So the first thing I do is, like in this area, it is rather obvious where the gasket sits and so on. So like in this, on this edge here and on this edge, I can just trace off the edge of the cylinder head. Same goes for this area and this area. So then I will just take the razor blade and put it level to the metal, and I will just slide it along and basically just remove the paint by cutting it or shaving it straight off the metal. I know that this is an area slightly bigger, most likely, than the area I need to clean, and also I have kept these paper plugs that I've made from paper towels inside of the exhaust channels or ports, so I don't get any of this debris into the engine. So I'm just working my way around here. And of course, around these threaded holes there might be metal that sticks out a bit because of the threads, so you have to work your way around it so you get the paint removed all the way into the threaded hole. So that takes care of this area, but down here, this is one plain surface of the cylinder head. It's machined, so it's just straight and level. And I know that the cylinder or this gasket doesn't cover this area, and it doesn't cover this area really, and neither here or here. But it covers these areas, but these are sunk in a bit, so it's easy to do this. So here I have to trace around it. So now I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. Take the new gasket, and then I open the bag. and see if it fits, and it does not fit this way, so then it must be like this. Nope. Perhaps like this. Yes. Now it covers the holes perfectly and all the bolt holes line up. So these parts is here, but I'm not going to remove the paint on this area because there is a, on the heat exchanger there's room for the gasket, so I'm just going to concentrate on removing paint in this area that's covered by the gasket, and also here and here. So, and to line up this, I'm going to use two of the bolts that holds the heat exchanger in place. So I just go ahead and thread these into the hole where they belong. Oh, yeah. Some of these bolts, I think in these two positions there are going to be studs, the rest is bolts. So now I've got this on here, it's in the correct position. So then I just use a knife with a pointy tip on it, like this one. And I just scratch the paint. Like so. And on this particular spot I've actually painted too little. But that's okay. I'm gonna put silvery grease on all of this, so I will just smear some extra here, and that's gonna keep it from corroding or rusting. So that's okay, and it won't be visible anyway, it's behind the heat exchanger. So yeah, that's gonna be all good. Now I can remove the gasket, put the bolts aside, and now I can see these marks that runs up here, but they stop here because here you had a strip of gasket that was connecting these together. So I just have to make a line freehand, and to do that I place my finger in the edge of this hole and I locate the knife on the line I'm supposed to follow, and I just scratch paint. So I got a full line to follow, and it might not be perfect every time, but it is the best that I can do. So now I've traced out the lines. Now I can come back with the razor blade and I can remove the paint that is on the inside of the line. So move on to the other side. My hand hand is probably in the way right now. But it kind of has to be, and there's not many places in this engine bay that I can mount the camera, so I'm really sorry about it, but yes, you can, if you are interested in this, I guess you can bear with me on this one. So if it's not 100% perfect, that's okay, because that silvery grease is gonna make up for the mistakes, I hope. It will. I don't not worry about that at all. But I kind of wanted to look pretty as well, even though the end result is not going to be visible to a lot of people. Unless you watch my YouTube videos, and there's not that many of you guys either, so I think it's pretty safe. So this is a close-up of the finished result. Here is where I cleaned off the paint. So the gasket should fit reasonably well on there, like so. So that is good in my book, and in my boat, I should say. So I'm gonna continue with the other two on a time lapse. This is the before shot. So you see there is a lot of paint here, and same on this one. So that's all 3 exhaust ports taken care of. And this is the finished result. This is how it looks now. So this is the first one that